What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a special episode of the Bark and Brown Show. I'm your host, Jacob Brett Roaches in 13 today for today's first video as I start to preview the 2023 Browns draft. I know it's pretty early and probably going to get a lot of hate from some of you talking about this in the middle of November, especially with the way the Browns played against the Bengals and how this season is not over. This is not me giving up on this season or anything of that matter. It's just me starting to talk about the draft. I love the draft. I watch film with these guys, do mocks, write it up all year long. So it is Tuesday, but I will say, as this video is released, I am recording it on Monday afternoon. So I do have the Homage Victory Monday shirt on. And because we know we're going to need plenty more of those, in the description of this episode, if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're on the audio and you can't see me, it will be in the description of that episode as well. I'll put a link to this awesome Homage Victory Monday Browns tee. They also just dropped this exact same design as a hoodie. We currently have a giveaway for that hoodie and some other great Homage stuff at Network_216 on Twitter. So you might go over there and check that out. It's also on our Facebook page as we give away some more awesome Browns merch from Homage. So you check those guys out if you haven't already. There's some links in the description and they are the best in the biz. So here today, I am going to talk about 3 prospects for the Browns that have already kind of caught my eye early on. I do have a mock draft coming out for Dog Pound Daily. As I sit here and record this on Monday afternoon. I'm not sure if that's going to drop tomorrow or Wednesday, but when it does drop, I will link it in the description of this. So you can go over there and read that and check it out if you are interested in that. But it got me working on some draft stuff as I like to work on it. And I already have this year's Alex Wright. If you followed me last year, you know that Alex Wright was my absolute draft crush last season. And when the Browns got him, I was head over heels. I'm very ecstatic for what I think this guy can be. He started playing some inside, some defensive tackle against the Bengals, and I kind of liked that a lot. So there's a lot of really cool things there. I already have it. I'm going to talk to you about 3 prospects. This first one, I'm going to start off with I am going to start off with the guy that I am absolutely head over heels already about. I cannot understand what happens to me, but every year there's a prospect or two that just gets my attention. And this is not going to be a popular one, but this is who I took with the 2nd round pick. And I could see this guy sneaking into the back end of round 1 and the Browns never even getting an opportunity to draft him. But I really like J.L. Skinner, the safety from Boise State. And a lot of people are going to be like, it needs to be a wide receiver or it needs to be defensive tackle or don't talk to me. I hear you. The Browns have not had a true free safety since Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and Joe Woods arrived in town. No matter what you think about Joe Woods or if he is here in the future or not, based on if they can do a miraculous turnaround or not, I still think you've got to find a free safety. They don't have any free safeties. John Johnson is more of a box safety. So is Grant Delpit. He moves around, does all these things. These guys can be better if there is a true deep center fielding safety in the back that can cover things deep. These guys, that's not where their strength is. And that is why you're seeing sometimes with these blown coverages and people getting vertical is you just don't have anybody natural that is in the back half of that secondary that is playing that way. That is not what you're going to get with J.L. Skinner. That dude is a free safety, and he is going to hit you in the mouth. The dude, I got to get his measurables up here. I forgot to pull these up for you guys because I was talking with Tyler Johnson this weekend about it. J.L. Skinner is 6'4", 220, and he can run a 4.5. This dude he's good, man. I mean, he is going to – the best thing about it is his leadership and his football IQ. If you go and just read anything that is out on the draft right now, and you read anything from draft guys when they talk about J.L. Skinner, they're going to say his leadership and his football IQ and his ability to put his teammates in the best positions to succeed. And that is also saying, hey, make sure, be aware of this. This is what I see. He is able to look, diagnose, and understand what the offense might be doing to attack them based on formations, and he helps get people in the right places. That is what this team is missing. They do not have this bona fide leader in the back half. Maybe John Johnson can finally get back to that. I don't know. But J.L. Skinner is a dude at 6'4", 220 that will come up and hit you square in the mouth in the run game, but also can play center field deep and react to the ball really well. He tracks the ball really well in the air. So he's able to go, he reads the quarterback's eyes. He tracks the ball well in the air to where he's able to make some interceptions and make some plays on the ball, where he's able to just understand, oh, this is where it's going, this is where it's going, this is what they're going to do, this is where I need to be. He just puts his whole team in a position to succeed. When you go to YouTube and you type it in, JL Skinner, safety, Boise State, let me see it. You're going to start with his plays in the run game. There is some issues tackling in the Browns safety room, coming up to make these plays, missing these tackles, not being able to be effective in the run game. That is not what Skinner is. Skinner fixes those things. He is exactly what this defense does not have in the back half and exactly what they need. And you will hear a lot from me when I talk about JL Skinner over this next 6 months with this draft process and everything that's going to go on. Very excited to see him once he tests. All right, before we move on to our second and our third players, I'm going to just take a brief break as we hear from our good friends over at Underdog Fantasy.
What's up, everybody? We know that daily fantasy never stops, and Network 216 is proud to be a partner with Underdog Fantasy. Very simple to use. All you have to do is go to underdogfantasy.com, and you will just click the sign in button. You'll create an account if you haven't done so already. If you've not created an account, it'll ask you to enter a code. Enter code 216, and they will double your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, live draft lobbies that you get to compete with you and your friends. It's no salary cap like DraftKings and FanDuel. You get to go to a draft lobby, pick the players you want, or you can do daily pick'ems, which give you access to all the NFL and NBA games for you to make your picks every single night. Again, go to underdogfantasy.com or use the Underdog Fantasy app on iOS or Android. Use code 216 to double your first deposit up to $100. Sign up today.
Hey, free money is free money, so take Tyler's advice and go sign up and get some free money from there. All right, guys, we're going to transition. These next two guys are going to be day 3 picks. These are guys that are going to go in the 4th and the 5th rounds, probably. At least that's where they are projected to go right now. As we know, this is going to change just so much over the coming months. Just even from now to the end of the college football season, it's going to change a million times over. So these are just guys that are going to be projected in that area, in some areas of need that I think the Browns will be focused on. I get my handy-dandy notebook here for you guys. Make sure I get all my notes in here. The first one is going to be a wide receiver, Parker Washington. If you're an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, you will remember Parker Washington as he has done some damage against the Buckeyes. At Penn State, he is a really interesting prospect because he kind of brings some of the things that the Browns covet and some of the things that they don't currently have. So he does line up a lot in the slot. He can line up outside. He can line up as kind of on the outside, but in a little bit, not far in the slot, but one of the two outside guys. He does some things. I think he is the most dangerous in the slot, and that is something the Browns, they're trying to convert maybe David Bell there. We don't know what's going on. It looks like DPJ is cementing himself on the outside, but having another guy in the slot that can turn some small plays into big plays, which is Parker Washington's specialty, is exactly what the Browns could use, going forward when it comes to the depth. Some things I wrote down here about him, and that is that, let me see if I can find it. Okay. He breaks arm tackles. He turns short gains into big plays. How many times have we watched the Browns give that up to other players, right? A guy that can break an arm tackle, make a play, make one man miss, and turn a 5-yard route into a 40-yard gain. That is what you're going to see when you watch Parker Washington. He's a little undersized at 5'10", but he's like 220 pounds. So he's really nice overall size, just a little bit on the shorter side. He's not over 6 foot tall, but he plays bigger than his 5'10", and he high points the ball really well. So those contested catch opportunities that Donovan Peoples-Jones kind of excels in, Parker Washington has a little bit of that in his game as well, where he has some pretty good vertical leap ability. I'm really interested. Here's another guy. You're going to hear me say this all the time until the testing numbers actually take place. But he is a guy that I'm really interested to see his vertical and some of those athletic testing numbers to kind of see if it matches what I've seen with him on film. He works really well when the quarterback's scrambling, not stopping a route, continuing a route, working back towards the ball, making himself, visible to the quarterback, wave the arms, get open. There's a touchdown in overtime. I want to say it was in 2020 late 2020. It might have been last year in 2021. There was a play in which Clifford hits him in the back of the end zone in overtime for a touchdown. And Clifford is eyeballing his number one wide receiver the whole way. And I believe it was Jahan Dotson. And he's scrambling out, and you just see Dotson can't get open. The guy's got great coverage, and you just see from over to your left, just working back, work is Parker Washington, and nobody followed him because of the way he just kind of works and casually works his way back into the screen, knowing that Clifford is still looking at Dotson, but then he makes himself available in the back of the end zone. It doesn't give up on the play. It kind of works through it, understands what he needs to do to make himself a good target and make the play, and he catches the touchdown. And it was a huge play for them. One thing he does, he benefited really, really well from Jahan Dotson. Like, who doesn't? The dude was a stud at Penn State. But I wrote this down, and I think it's very important because of what the Browns have kind of started to build, and we have seen here, especially to be very interesting as Deshaun Watson comes back in a few weeks. He is able to find and exploit the open areas that are left behind by the extra attention to Dotson. So, we talk about this on the defensive line, right? Where we say, okay, Myles Garrett's getting all this attention. So somebody else should be able to make, something happen with the opportunity because they're not getting a ton of attention. That is kind of what happens with Parker Washington when Dotson was here. Of course, he's not there now, and he's still productive. Parker Washington still is their best wide receiver, in my opinion, on that team. He's finally the best wide receiver. Wasn't when Dotson was there, but he's a zone killer that finds the holes. He can beat man coverage. He's faster than you think. I'm very interested to see when he gets his vertical time, his 40 time, and see that sort of thing. But he knows how to beat a zone defense. He can beat man just fine, but there is a lot of plays, and he does not have 4.2 speed. That's why I'm talking about the football IQ, the ability to understand how to beat a defense. He gets so open on some of these plays that you would think that he is blowing by them, and he's a good route runner. It's not Amari Cooper level filthy. He just understands how to play. There's a lot of David Bell there. A lot of David Bell. I think he's got more athleticism than David Bell. I think he's got a little bit better straight line speed. But Parker Washington is a guy, I think I took him in my mock that's coming out, I think at 114 or 111 in the fourth round. He's a guy that you'll probably get on day 3 of the draft, but he can be really nice piece with Amari Cooper. Donovan Peoples-Jones has cemented himself as a number 2, and David Njoku. Those are 3 really good targets that draw a lot of attention, and guys like David Bell and then potentially Parker Washington would benefit immensely in their ability to just get open and find the holes in the zone. All right, my final prospect for our first names you need to know for the Browns in 2023 of the year. We're going to do these probably every couple of weeks for the rest of the season, probably not every week. I know you guys don't want to go full board draft, but Tyler Johnson and I got a lot of really great, awesome draft stuff coming for you for Network 216 once the offseason hits, and we'll be doing a lot of awesome stuff. I did want to remind you guys, currently we are revamping our Patreon and what you get with your membership, but right now we're just more offering it as, hey, there's stuff that's coming, but if you guys are interested in supporting us over here at Network 216, I'm going to put it up on the screen. We do a $5 a month membership for our Patreon, patreon.com/network_216. Exclusive giveaways. We're going to be working on some college football ranking articles and some videos that will be exclusive for our guys. $5 a month. It helps us out immensely. You don't understand. It helps us bring such great content to you guys. So we hope that you'll consider helping us out and becoming a member, and we'll have some great exclusive content. The last guy is a guy I think people are going to like. They're going to Google this guy and just look at the measurables, and they're going to say, all right, he's probably a 5th round pick, 4th round pick, somewhere on the day 3 of the draft, and he's exactly what the Browns need, and that's Mazi Smith, the D tackle from Michigan. Let me just tell you, 6'3", 337 pounds. He is, I wrote this down, absolute unit. That's just it's very simple and clean when you talk about this prospect. And that is that he's 6'3", 337, and he eats blocks. That's what I wrote, just eats blocks. Doesn't always push the pocket when he's rushing the passer. He's probably an early down guy, especially in the NFL. But he just creates a wall. He anchors really, really well, and he just creates the wall with immense amount of strength. He's got more. If you think he doesn't have any athleticism, he can make a play if you're not expecting it. Very similar to like Marquand McCall, who I talked about a lot last year in this past draft. But the dude just like, he plays kind of high. He plays with a high pad level. He can be knocked back and off balance a little bit. But when he does, he actually recovers really, really well. He doesn't necessarily bull like Jordan Davis and just crush someone into the backfield. You're just not going to move him. And when you're looking at day 3 and you're looking at what the Browns don't have, that is what they don't have. Smith at 337 would just get in the way. We've talked about it. I know you guys that are listening right now, you've heard me talk about it. That is what the Browns do not have. If they go and they're like, in my mock, I had them double dipping. In the 3rd round, they also took a D tackle, a more explosive D tackle. But if you're like looking day 3 of the draft and you're like, okay, we have our rushers. Because I think Elliott's been okay as a rusher. I think Taven Bryan's actually had a pretty good time. Tommy Togiai lately having some good games, making some good snaps. But you're like, okay, we've got what we want playmaker-wise, pass rush. We just got to find somebody like this is what they wanted Andrew Billings to be, I think, is what Mazi Smith can be. And that's just an immovable object that eats blocks, makes you hesitate, and allows those free-flowing athletic linebackers behind them to make plays. So Mazi Smith, Parker Washington, J.L. Skinner being my biggest draft crush so far of the cycle. Those are 3 names you need to watch. I will be back in a couple weeks for 3 new names for the Browns as we start talking about the NFL draft and all other great things going on in this network. Be sure, if you're watching this on Tuesday tonight, 8 o'clock, I will be eating the Apollo hot sauce from Hot Ones on Hot Wings to kick off the end of the bye week and hopefully a great second half of the season for your Browns. Hey, the most valuable thing you can give someone is some of your time. So thanks again for giving some of yours to me. I will see you guys next time. As always, go Browns.